Hello everybody, this is Purge bringing you guys a Purge cast of pub. I haven't done one of these in forever. This is submitted by Luke on my forums. Go to purgegamers.true.io to submit those. And this is a 3K MMR game. I want to tell you what happens in it. He gave me a couple things, a couple pieces of information about it. He played Slardar this game. We haven't done a pub cast in a while. Sorry, my brain's not working super well right now. I just had a weird problem with my Dota that was very peculiar, so I started Dota up and I was like, everything's a weird color, this is weird. And then I opened up my actual Dota game, I opened the watch tab and I watched the game, and everything was in, not monochromatic, no it's not monochromatic, it's in basically three-dimensional mode. One of the ways to do 3D is that you take the red and the blue and you phase them out a little bit, so you like spread out the images, that way, and you put glasses on so one of your eyes sees one color and one sees the other, which makes it seem like you're seeing three-dimensional, because the images you're seeing are slightly offset because your eyes are slightly offset. And so for some reason, I don't know how the fuck it happened, but it turned my 3D settings on my video card on. And apparently Dota 2 has 3D settings. I'm thinking about like maybe I should play Dota in 3D. It only worked for mostly the heroes. The heroes had the biggest 3D, so it was I guess the heroes would look three-dimensional, but everything else wouldn't. But I thought that was kind of cool. So you guys can play Dota in 3D if you want to. You just have to go buy the glasses. So I'm gonna free camera this because I want to talk about a lot of stuff. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. We'll figure that out. First things first, we can talk about the hero compositions. Whenever I cast a pub, by the way, I'm basically going to criticize the shit out of everybody, say what they did wrong, say what they could have done better, and things they could have done to win the game for their team. I really like the lineup on the Radiant team. There's a ton of minus armor. I've got minus armor from the Slardar's ultimate, got minus armor from Acid Spray, got minus armor from Venge, Wave of Terror, and they've also got Damage Amp, which is synergistic with all of these things. Morphling, I have no idea what role he's playing. Looks like he's maybe going to be Offlane, in which case Morphling's pretty good in a lot of lineups because you do get a 4-second stun out of Adaptive Strike. And they've also got a CM, which is pretty good as well because pretty much all their heroes actually do need mana. So I actually really like the draft out of the Radiant team. I think it's very synergistic. Out of the Dire team, it is pretty melee heavy with 4 melees. They've got a Wind Ranger who looks like she's going to be going mid. And their tri-lane is Earthshaker, double cow lane with a Slark. They've got pretty good heroes for punishing the squishy... Do they? Okay, yeah, they do. They do actually. They actually stack their stuns a little bit here. Oh, if he got away, that would have been hilarious. That's actually so cool. They put a sentry down in anticipation of there being a Riki, and they actually played that very well. They waited until they were all surrounding him. That was pretty cool. The Slardar stunned a little bit early, but that was fine. Pretty cool little kill there. Morphling also got the Boundary Rune, that's also very good. Good for him. Morphling, Offlane, I wish he had more regen here. 1 Tango and a Ring of Protection isn't very good. And in fact, he actually doesn't have any mana regens, and he used Waveform there to escape, so now he actually is just in danger if he ever gets out of position. Morphling is kind of a cool offlane hero, but he's not the most survivable, is the issue. I'm just going to turn my... Oops, I want that about this. I'm going to turn this way down, so I'm not jumping around as fast. Alright, that's a little better. Still got pretty good FPS on my side, about 100, so I'm pretty happy here.
Mine, right?
So in the mid lane, Quelling Blade, Stout Shield, and Alchemist. A new build that has kind of been developed and is pretty standard now is Poor Man's Shield. Now if we look at the difference between Stout Shield and Poor Man's Shield, it's actually pretty significant. Keep in mind Stout Shield was recently nerfed. Well, it actually wasn't nerfed, it was just changed, I would say is the best way to describe it. The cost was reduced by 50 gold. It's now a 200 gold item instead of a 250 gold item. And what it provides you is it gives you 16 damage block instead of 20. Before it used to damage block 20 at 50%, I believe. And at one point also 20 at 60%. Now it blocks 16 at 50%. And if you're a ranged hero, it only blocks 8. The way Poor Man's Shield works is that against heroes, it always blocks 20 if you're a melee hero. And if you're ranged, it blocks 10. Against creeps, it has a 53% chance to block damage from creeps up to 20 as well. So the damage block on the regular Stout Shield is max 16, the Poor Man's Shield is max 20, and guaranteed does 20 if it does damage block. So that's already pretty good. It more than doubles the effectiveness against ranged heroes, basically, because it goes from a 50% chance to block 16 to a 100% chance to block 20 from heroes. Always attacks, yeah, always blocks from enemy heroes. It's been changed a couple times in a few small ways, so it's a little different. So it basically doubles the block effectiveness, and it gives you 6 agility, which as the strength hero gives you 6 attack speed, almost 1 armor, because it takes 7 agility. And if you're an agility hero, it gives you 6 damage. Very good on agility hero, but even on a strength hero, it's kind of okay to get. For this reason, if you're planning to take a lot of hits, Poor Man's Shield in an early laning stage against a range hero is very, very good on a melee hero. So if Wind Ranger does hit him, it does almost nothing. It actually does about 41 damage, and then that 41 damage is further reduced by his armor, which is 2 right now. Obviously, he actually doesn't have the Poor Man's Shield, so maybe the numbers aren't... Obviously, that example wasn't the best, but... having a Poor Man's Shield can give you a really big advantage in the mid lane. Quelling Blade is also very good, obviously, for last hitting, because Alchemist's goal is basically just get as many last hits as possible. Getting used to denying an acid spray is really important as a Wind Ranger, because you can actually, like, he could deny this really early. Denying is the name of the game when you're playing against an Alchemist, because every deny that you get is severely reducing the amount of farm and gold that he gets. So that's really important. Seems like the mid lane's going pretty normal. In the off lane, it's an offlane Riki, which is pretty hard to zone. He also has the Poor Man's Shield. Very great item to have on Riki because not only is he an agility hero, so it gives him armor and damage, but also synergizes very well with backstab, since any point of agility you get on Riki gives you extra damage. So he gets an extra 0.5 damage for every agility point, so that means his Poor Man's Shield actually gives him 9 damage when he's hitting the back of somebody. There's no way they get this kill in the Riki here. It just takes way too much damage. These heroes are both too right-click based to be able to kill Riki. And they also can't really zone him very properly due to the fact that there's a Sentry Ward here. I'd say maybe the solution to that is you pull a lot as a support. But I'm not 100% on that one. In the offlane, we actually have a Morphling and a CM doing a dual offlane. I don't like this very much because CM should be just jungling, basically. It kind of helps that she's here, I guess, to give him some space, but I much prefer having a CM just hard jungling. Also, I really don't like the adaptive strike that Morphling's picked up here. It's not good to get early. You actually should always get Morph at level 2, at least. And that's because it gives you 3 agility and 3 strength. That's basically like having a super stat point. It doesn't give you int, obviously, but the extra strength and damage it gives you is very good to have. And he's actually started to morph pretty heavily into strength. I don't think this is a good idea either. If you don't have many levels of adaptive strike, you're not ready to morph a lot of your stats into strength. I think it's actually better to be pretty balanced in terms of agility and strength. Because your goal is basically to stay alive, to not die. And later, if you're dying, you can morph your stats. But the problem is that it costs you a lot of mana, 30 mana per second to shift. So he basically, every time that he shifts 2 points per shift rate. So he's shifting 2 points from agility to strength, and it's costing him 30 mana. That is really expensive, and now his last hitting is even worse. He hits very, very soft right now. In fact, he's hitting about the same as Crystal Maiden. Not a good place to be if you're trying to get a couple last hits in the early game. So, this is basically the right build, though. You do go Tranquil Boots in the off lane, and then you build something like a Soul Ring. That way you can spam spells a little bit more due to Morphling's int gain being awful, since it is only 1.5. So, that makes a lot of sense. Because like Venge did end up killing Riki on the bot lane. I would kind of like to have him have a Vengeance Aura. I think getting an extra point of Wave of Terror is not worth it when you could have a Vengeance Aura point, and that's mostly due to the fact that 1 minus armor doesn't increase your damage by very much. Oh, this guy's in a lot of position. I would have liked to have him have Clarity Potions in the beginning, but he did not have those. Riki is spotted here. Pretty nice stun here. Oh, CM has showed up. The problem with CM showing up, though, is she didn't actually have her Nova. If she would have had her Nova, they might have been able to kill. This skill build is done sometimes, but it's very scary to do it. Especially, like, if she just had Nova, they would have the easiest double kill here. They just do not have it. Let me talk about that for a moment. Like, going this skill build on Crystal Maiden is often decent, because the reality is that you get it so fast that all of a sudden you're pumping out 1.5 mana per second and 3 mana for yourself. Really early in the game, but the problem is it's 6 minutes into the game, and CM has been participating in a dual lane, which is, again, not playing Crystal Maiden correctly. If you don't heavily jungle Crystal Maiden at the start of the game, then you're playing her wrong. She's not a good dual lane hero. Her base damage is low, her movement speed is bad, and her HP is low, and her mana pool is low. All these things are low. The advantage you get from CM is getting an early jungle lead, and then transitioning into gank or lane pressure. The problem is that CM ran to the lane, and she just sat there, and she got experience. And she didn't really... She exerted some lane pressure, which I guess is good, but she didn't get a fast level 2, and she's splitting experience with Morphling. If she starts in the jungle, for example, goes like over here, well, there's a lot of stacks going on. This is probably for Alchemist. But start here, kill the large creeps, leave the small ones for the Alchemist to kill later, and then get a fast level 2, and then you shift up to the top lane, then things are all good and dandy. But I feel like she didn't really pressure that much. Slark actually has decent last hits, and CM is only level 3, which is frankly really behind at the 6-minute mark. Level 3 is pretty low. Usually want to be at least like level 4 here, I would say. And by doing this, shifting out, and getting the late level of Arcane Aura, and now she doesn't even have levels of Crystal Nova. Like, yeah, she's getting an extra 1 mana per second, but who cares if she... like, this another strength in Crystal Main is that you have 2 disables. And there's not a lot of support heroes that do have 2 nukes or 2 disables in their early laning stage, so... Bit of a mistake there. She also bought a gauntlet at the start of the game, which I think is a mistake. I don't like buying gauntlets early. The stats that you get from it is, yeah, it's okay for your overall HP, but Ironwood branches are almost always better. They don't give you as much HP, but the int is usually very useful, especially on supports. The most important stats on supports by far are strength and int. And yeah, Gauntlet of Strength does give you more HP, but I think having a bit more mana earlier is usually a bit better. It's kind of personally how I feel. On the bright side, he has been buying things like couriers and bringing wards out. In a game like this, versus a Riki, one solution to him is that you actually put an Observer Ward in lane with a Clarity Potion. So that may, or I'm sorry, not a Clarity, a Sentry, another blue item. And that lets you see if the Riki does approach the lane. But this is one of the issues with Riki, basically. They're buying all these sentries and they're putting them in lane. That way they know if Riki is there. The better solution usually is to just gank him a lot. And I actually did play a game like that where I was Crystal Maiden, where I just very early rotated to the top lane and I would gank the Riki a lot with the smoke, or with the dust. And the reason that's important is because if you don't pressure a Riki a lot early, then he kind of just gets ahead of you, and then he just starts two-shotting you around the map. And you need to prevent that pressure. So it's good that they're putting the sentries down because it is helping them spot the Riki, but they need to kill him a bunch to really make it good. They're also kind of set for the fact that it's an offlane Riki, and offlane Riki's not going to have as much farm. But if it's like a safe lane Riki up here, it's very good if supports rotate early and get a lot of kills on him using things like dust. Really recommend that. Skill build here on the Morphling is pretty good. The item build is also good. This basically allows him that his adaptive strike already is going to be very strong. Only downside is his morph is a little bit low. And this is a pretty big misconception. A misconception that does happen with Slarks in the early game is that people assume that... I'm sorry, not Slark, but Morphling. Is that they assume the offlane Morphling is actually still very hard to kill like all Morphlings are. But the reality is they usually put their skill points into other abilities, so it's not really the case. Now, the Morphling is going to be pretty abusive this game if the Alchemist goes Radiance. And it looks like he is going to do that, because if he goes Radiance, the Morphling can make an ultimate replicate of him. Okay, a little bit of a gank here going on. See, he's trying to morph, but it's doing almost nothing. It's actually quite easy to gank early game Morphlings. The only difficult part is the waveform mobility. But if he does get a Radiance, he can make a replicate of him, and then he can go Radiance farm by himself, which is very nice to do. Ugh, God, I hate it when CMs do this. Dude, I played with Slaxus one day, and he played Crystal Maiden, he was like level 10, he still didn't have Crystal Nova. I couldn't believe it. You need the Crystal Nova. Not only is it an extra nuke, but it's an AoE slow. It's pretty weak, 20%, but it's still worth getting. And it also gives you vision. There's so many opportunities that you can use Nova for. It's a longer ranged ability. The range is something like this, and it has an AoE, so you can technically nuke farther than its range. There's no reason to put an extra skill point into Frostbite, which increases your damage by 50, when you can instead grab Crystal Nova and do 100 damage. It's a super value point. It's a 100 damage nuke with one skill point. In fact, Crystal Maiden at level 3, which you should have one Aura, one Frostbite, and one Nova, does 250 magic damage. That is so much magic damage. Most heroes are going to be hitting for like 150 or something like that. And what's she going to use? She's going to come forward and Frostbite this guy? She can use her other skill? Hell no, because she doesn't have it. Because she has a stupid skill build. Obviously, I wasn't going to make a difference there, but like... Please, God, get your skill points. Oh, alright, this is good. Okay. That was actually kind of nice that he used Dark Pact, because he actually took a lot of damage from the ability. Now, if you're curious how much strength you need to have... Oh, that's a dead hero. This guy's doing some nice little rotations here. You need to have 50% more strength than you have agility. That is how you get the max stun. So if you do some math here, this is giving him 31 agility and 56 strength. So 31 he's actually got too little agility. So the easiest way to do this is, let me think, 50% his agility. His strength is 50% higher than his agility. Okay, so what the easiest way to do this math is you calculate your agility, you divide it by 2, and you add that to your original number. It's very similar to doing tips, if you live in America or other tip culture places. Not that I support that, I'm just saying it happens. Okay, 31 agility, half of that is approximately 15. So if we add 15 to 31, then we're getting 46. So his strength actually only needs to be 46, which is actually more representative of where it is right now. Again, half of 34 is, I'm sorry, 37. We'll ignore the plus, no, actually the plus 3 is important. 37, half of that is like 7, 18 or something like that, 18 or 19. 18 plus 37 is a little difficult. That's 45, 55. So he's actually a little too agility focused here, which means he's going to do not the full stun duration, and yeah, that's not necessarily good to have. But either way, that's what you have to do when you're doing this math. Make sure that it is a decent balance. I think it's not worth it to go all in on strength for 2 reasons. First of all, if you're taking damage, you want to be able to strength more further, which is good. Also, you have less armor if you're fully strength morphed, which means that you'll die a little bit faster in some cases to physical damage. Against magic damage, it's much better to have fully strength morph. If we look at this game, I would say it is pretty good to have some agility due to them physical. Definitely very magic based Slark is, but he does have some physical, and he is reducing your stats with Essence Shift. Magical and magical. So I think mostly strength, but some agility is worthwhile. And the other issue is that if you don't have any agility, you're not attacking it rapidly at all. Makes it very difficult to get kills, basically. You can morph right now. It's like a pretty dead Wind Ranger here. Oh, never mind. No one has dust. Literally, no one has dust. Please, God, you're playing against a... Oh, nice, you got Frostbite. Praise the Lord. It's gonna nuke this. Here it comes, here it comes. That nuke! There it is, it was beautiful. Even as the cosmetic. Alright, these guys are getting absolutely wrecked. I do not see how the Radiant loses this game at this stage. Well, they shouldn't. I mean, it can happen, but they really shouldn't. I mean, basically their offlane has died 5 times. It's a Riki. Riki is a carry. He is a hero that does not, like, he kind of can work in the offlane, but only in lanes that are very weak without disables, and he's able to punish. He's only really good against carries that don't have disables. Like, I played an offlane Riki against a Shadow King once, and that was okay. That was a really good blink. I really like that. He gets another bash. That's a dead hero. This is really nicely played by the Slark. The only problem is that he's... Okay. Alright, I think he's got him here. Okay, that was really nicely played by Slardar. I like that a lot. I don't like the Blade Mail choice, though. This is a mistake. You do not need a Blade Mail on Slardar. The armor is kind of cool, and I guess technically with Blade Mail, you're reflecting damage that's being amplified by sprints, so there's slightly some synergy there, but it's too dangerous. You should just transition into a core ability, basically. A BKB this game would be fantastic. Prevents Riki's Smoke Cloud. You don't have to worry about the damage from Spirit Breaker. You don't have to worry about Earthshaker stuns or damage. You don't have to worry about Shackle Shot. You just jump in and you kill somebody. I think a BKB is the very clear solution to go for. Blade Mail is not. There's a lot of, like, you could look at Blade Mail and be like, okay, Blade Mail looks amazing, right? Because if I turn my Blade Mail on and I take 1,000 damage, I do 1,000 damage to that guy. That's amazing for 2,000 gold, right? But the reality is that it almost never works like that. You have to have a hero that forces them to attack you. Blade Mail's amazing if you're playing Axe. Blade Mail's... Alright, I would say Blade Mail's good if you're playing Axe, because most times it's not a huge amount of damage. Blade Mail's amazing on Legion Commander, for example, because you can turn Blade Mail and you can attack a carry and you take an insane amount of damage. Or if the Ember has Flame Guard on, it's really good because he can't stop that damage from occurring. But Blade Mail on a hero that doesn't force people to attack is not good. Blade Mail on a Slardar is not good because he stuns his opponents and then they can't attack him and do damage anyways, you know? If you bash somebody, they also can't attack you. It's not synergistic fully. It's only good if your opponents do really stupid things. Maybe against a Slark, it's kind of cool, but in most cases, it's just really not recommended here. This Avenge really needs a wand or a magic stick. It's a very, very useful item. It's probably the worst Echo Slam I've seen in a very long time here. If he had a wand, he would have had extra stuns. And he also could Tread Switch, but he hasn't been doing that either. Like, the Venge is playing pretty well here, but he really needs to tread switch. It's like one of the... gives you so much mana pool. You're basically taking these 9 strength points that you have and you're shifting them into int, and it increases your mana pool by a fraction of the amount that it's going up multiplied by your current mana pool. If that makes sense. Basically, you get more mana. It's a lot easier if we talk about it that way. I have no idea what this guy is building, but Magic Wand is, at the very least, getting a Magic Stick is way too good to pass up as a support in the early game. Because you're going to be around spells, right? 5 spells cast gives you 75 mana. There's pretty commonly 5 spells cast in every single fight, like the Earthshaker did. Echo Slam, Enchant Totem, and Fissure, that's 3 spells. Wind Ranger used Wind Run. The Spirit Breaker used Charge. He can get mana, you can get mana from all that stuff. And it can easily translate to kills and survivability. Ooh, he casted that a little bit late. He could actually die here due to sprint, I guess, but... And this Riki just does no damage right now. Alright, they did actually get the Slark kill. I don't really know why he ran north. He should have ran south, obviously, but... Drum of Endurance pick on Morphling. Not a fan of that. I don't see the value here. If you're playing support Morphling, and not support Morphling, but like offlane stunning Morphling, mobility is not really what you need. Like, it helps to have a Yules, for example, but that gives you survivability against yourself, it protects you against silence, it also lets you buy time to set up for an adaptive strike. Yules is good. Drum of Endurance is more of like a damage mobility item. You don't really need it for that. I don't like it for that reason. Venge should still have 1 point in Vengeance Aura. The additional benefit you get from a Wave of Terror is you get 20 pure damage and -1 armor. 1 armor, if you only take physical damage, 1 armor gives you about 6% survivability. So, in a way, it's increasing your damage by about 6%. Let me just double check that on my calculator. So, if we... Let's say... Trying to figure out if I'm mathematically correct. If somebody gets a point of armor, they basically go from 100% to 106. And if somebody reduces that by 1 armor, they're reducing it by 6 out of 106, right? I might be wrong, but I'm pretty darn sure that 1 point in Vengeance Aura increasing your base damage by 12% gives you more damage output than -1 armor. The only cases where this might not be true is if you have a lot of plus damage items, like Blades of Attack, for example, doesn't get increased by a damage aura on Venge. This damage aura only boosts up your base damage or stat-based abilities. So Venge here, who has a Blade of Alacrity and a Band of Elven Skin and a Circlet, these all increase your agility, which means that it goes in your primary attribute, which means that Vengeance Aura would buff it. So if you have a hero that is very plus damage based, like Ember Spirit, for example, who gets Battle Fury and Daedalus, all plus damage items, then Vengeance Aura is not very good. In that case, minus armor is much better, because minus armor is affected by plus damage things. So that's something to keep in mind. Something interesting. So those are all things you have to think about when you're doing your skill build. He eventually gets it, which is good, but he could have had this whole time. That's 11 damage. Every creep that he hits, he's getting plus 11 damage. Every hero he hits, he's getting plus 11 damage. And every ally nearby, his creeps now get plus 3 damage and plus 2 damage. They're all pushing faster due to Vengeance, or Vengeful Spirit hanging out in the area. I think that's all very useful to have. This guy's got Radiance and his BOTs, and he's doing Alchemist things, which are basically, you stand next to heroes until they die. Radiance is one of the strongest items in the game when you get it at this point. Now, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of the Octarine Manta build that Alchemists often get, where they basically try to play Naga Siren, because I feel like it makes your Radiance much better, but it makes your hero much worse. You're spending like a lot of gold on items that very minorly make your hero stronger. I can maybe argue for a Manta style if you're up against a hero that has an Orchid, but neglecting that aspect, I think it's a waste to go to the Manta style, and definitely a waste to go to the Octarine. Again, it makes your split push very good, but you're making your hero much worse, and that's not a good thing. One thing I can really justify, though, if you want to get Radiance, but after you get Radiance, you need to get a different item. Like an AC or something like that. He actually could have killed that guy if he just had started hitting him. Now he's lost his chance, I think. Nope, I think he's still going to get him, actually. Okay, yeah, Radiance still got the kill here. And now this is going to be a dead Spirit Breaker, probably. This is now getting really dangerous for Alchemist. He should have ran. Yep, now he dies. Goodbye. Maybe, unless he misses. Nope, got him. Alright. Pretty big turnaround here for the Dire team. This guy literally just keeps using backstabs. Definitely too many.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, I like that.
Dire's top tower
Wow, he didn't get him. That was a little unlucky. Oh, that was a level 2 also. That's pretty unlucky they didn't get that kill. I thought Riki would die there. So, I like this build. It's good right now. Boots of Travel, Radiance, completely fine. But I think what he needs to translate into is maybe a Sanjin Yasha instead of the Manta would be better. Run a little faster, more HP. Maybe Manta style's okay. Is there anything good that he can remove? Not really this game. I wouldn't say Manta's particularly useful. It does help you farm faster though, because you can Manta split. Maybe you should still get Manta over S and Y, but certainly afterwards you should build like an AC or an HP item. I don't think Octarine is the solution. So once you buy Octarine, Octarine is like, it gives you it's basically like having a solar booster or soul booster. There we go. That's what it's called. I don't see it here. It's right here, obviously. 450 health, 400 mana. Yeah, okay, that's nice. The HP is good, the mana is kind of wasted. The plus 25 int is completely wasted. And it decreases your ult cooldown, which is kind of cool and makes you farm faster, I guess. And it gives you lifesteal from your Radiance, but that's really not very good. With 5,900 gold, you can buy a lot of items. You can buy an Abyssal Blade, almost. You can buy an AC and have gold left over. You could buy a Heart. You could buy Satanic. You could buy like an Armlet and probably almost an S and Y. Yeah, pretty much. S and Y is about 4,100, Armlet's about 23. You can basically buy a Sanjin Yasha and an Armlet for about the same cost as a Solar or for an Octarine core. It's a difference of about, what, 500 gold? I think an Armlet S and Y Radiance is way better than an Octarine core. You could definitely justify that, I think. Plus Armlet gives you armor, and S and Y is going to give you like 2 armor, so you'd get like extra 7 armor out of this build. That's way better than going for the Octarine build. I think the Octarine build is just bad. It's like a bastardization of an extreme aspect of this build. Maybe it's not better than the current build that Miracle's been going, which is like S and Y, Solar Crest, Blink Dagger, AC. Like very purple item based. But it's got to be better than the Radiance Octarine build. I think that's pretty straightforward. This looks like a pretty easy kill here. And this is kind of the issue with Alchemist at this point. He's actually very squishy. It's strong right when you get the Radiance, but the moments afterwards it's not very good because you have an evasion tool, but you have no armor. You've got no plus HP, and you spent 2,000 gold on Boots of Travel, which just make you run faster. If you're getting chain stunned and nuked down, it's not going to help you very much. And this is really the point in time where the Dire team does have to be aggressive, and they do have to go for kills. If an Alchemist does make a Radiance, you have to punish him a lot in the mid game. Very similar to the way that I talked about Riki earlier. A lot of carries are like that, actually. You have to see what point they're vulnerable, and you have to kill them. Same with Anti-Mage before Manta style. Storm of Endurance is going to do very little here to help him out. Nice Shackle. Okay swap attempt, but he should have done that instantly, I think. Alright. I like the Blink Dagger pickup on CM. It's actually very good sometimes to grab. Okay, very interesting blade mail. He should definitely fight this. Stun now. Okay. Man, that's less than kill. And now they just need to not die to Slark somehow. Oh, this looks bad. Stun and run. Alright, he's dead. GG. Pretty good fights there for Slark. He's actually quite strong though. Fast BKB pickup, I actually like that a lot. Against the heroes he's against, I think BKB is a great item to pick up. BKB after Shadow Blade. It's not greedy at all, it's very straightforward. Covers this team a lot. Radiant team is definitely throwing pretty much. What did this guy buy? Oh god, he's going for it. He's going for the Octarine. It's just not good. If you are going this build, you always get Manta first as well. He's messed that up as well. You really need to go for that build first. Manta is far more important than the Octarine is. The Octarine is about reducing your Manta cooldown and reducing your ultimate cooldown. But without the Manta, all you're doing is reducing your ultimate cooldown and giving you some HP, but it's just some weak HP. HP without armor means you're not very good against physical damage dealers like Wind Ranger, like Riki, and like Slardar. And by Slardar I mean Slark, the other fishman. Still too many sentries being placed by the Radiant team. The real reality is that they should get something like a gem and they should have moved around. They also need aggressive wards. Aggressive wards help a lot. Like, look at all the sentries on the map. There's like 500 gold of sentries on the map right now. It's a pretty big waste. Looks like they're gonna kill Alk again. Yeah, that's a very big. Alchemist, you being dead is just a huge gold loss, really. He also bought none of the tanky aspects. He could have bought a soul booster with the same cost as this Mystic Staff plus a little extra, and he could add 400 extra HP. Instead, he says, I'm going to buy all of the int-based items, the least important aspects. Nice BKB from Slark. This looks really bad for the Radiant team. Morph should make an illusion of... Oh, they still have a tower here. I guess they're kind of covered for that. Like the waveform. Don't think it's gonna work now. Should have probably made an illusion of the Crystal Maiden when Crystal Maiden was still alive and ran off with it. That would have been good. Could have eaten the initiation with it. So now they're basically just in a bad spot because the Dire team is just kind of running over them. And the Alchemist hasn't actually transitioned from his good items. He had a good start, he got his good item build, but then he started making bad items in a bad place. Like, he can almost get solo killed by Riki now. Look at this. If his ultimate wasn't up... Riki messing up pretty bad here. I don't know why he keeps using... That was awfully stupid. All the Riki had to do is follow him until his ultimate ran out, and then you kill him. Use Diffusal Blade, drop the Smoke Cloud, and hit him in the back till he dies. It's pretty straightforward. He's only got 1000 HP. But he gets a little bit of gold out of that. It's gonna get him almost the Octarine Core, the magic item. Wow, even this SB has a BKB. They actually bought very safe items. I actually really like this itemization. That's great. From you can tell by his name. He very obviously watches the pro scene, so he knows what items to build. Makes a huge difference. So he buys the Vit booster. He's missing about 200 gold, and then he just needs the point booster, and then he's got his item. But it's still 27 minutes. He should have had Manta Octarine Core by like maybe 25. If he would have gotten the Manta, he could have been able to do it. Now, if you guys haven't seen this build before, the reason that the Manta is very good is because you are making Manta illusions of your Radiance, and then you send one to each camp. So you send one here, and the Radiance burn will kill the creep wave while your hero is farming. So it's kind of like you're farming 3 places at the same time. That's why it's so strong. He needs about 10 gold, and he's going to have his item. Also, if you're winning, I don't really recommend passive farming, much like these guys are doing. If you're winning, what you need to do is you need to place observer wards surrounding their towers, and then you need to pressure them whenever they leave that surrounding area. If you're winning the game, you don't sit back and farm, because this allows the Radiant team to sit back and farm their jungle. Instead, you put pressure by farming their jungle while you look for kills on their heroes. If the Dire team was instead sitting in the enemy jungle, and they're pushing all the waves, this is a good push wave, but the mid wave should be here, and the bottom wave should be here. And if they do that, this basically means that the Radiant team only feels comfortable in this side of the map. That's not very much space. Then the Dire team gets to farm these 3 camps, and they get to farm these 5 camps, and they get to farm their own Ancients. And whenever the waves pushes out, they get those as well. So they definitely get more farm than the Radiant team. So they're basically giving away some of their lead right now by not pressuring. And this ward is absolutely not aggressive enough. You don't place a ward here if you're winning a game. You don't place a ward here if you're winning the game. Maybe if you want to control Roche, yes, but this one's a little bit wasted, but it was placed to kill the tier 1, so I understand it. But they need to place a ward here, or here, or here would be good, or maybe not here because it's a little obvious, but this is nice. Sentry with a ward on top, that way it can spot the Riki coming. These wards are really good for the Radiant team because they're trying to protect their jungle, they're trying to protect their opponents from coming into their side of the map. That's good. Oh, they might actually get... They killed Avenge right at the start, that'd be good. Okay. Alright, this actually looks really good for the Dire. Although, this guy's life stealing. It's not bad. He could maybe win this, unless he gets Bash. He's getting so much lifesteal from the Octarine. That was actually pretty amazing. Looked like he had 2 ultimates on. But either way, he should. If he just had like an armor item, like an armlet or a chainmail or something like that, he would have been way more survivable here. Way more survivable.
Dire structures are fortified.
Silver Edge picked up for Slark. It's going to disable passives, so Vengeance Aura, Grieval's Greed, which is irrelevant. Bash is okay to remove. That's about it. It might stop Arcane Aura as well for a couple seconds. I don't like the Silver Edge this game. I think it's a waste. It does reduce damage output of the target for 5 seconds. That's kind of cool. But, eh. I think he should have instead left Shadowblade and gotten a Scotty instead. That would have been a better item. Or actually, you know what I would have done? I would have gone Butterfly this game over Scotty. The reason being, he's already got a BKB, so he's magic immune. If he grabs a Butterfly on top of that, it's going to be hard for his opponents to hit him. And they're very right-click based. Vengeful Spirit, Alchemist, Slardar, and Morphling. Obviously, Morphling's not very right-click, and there's a lot of magic damage from Crystal Maiden, but if he goes Butterfly, he basically is going to be invulnerable to their damage. So this is a bit of a misbuild. Again, I've talked about this pretty much every video, but the Silver Edge costs him $26.50. That's almost an Eagle song. That's like half of an item, basically, that he could have had, rather than upgrading to an item that doesn't hard counter. If you're against a Huskar, sure, buy Silver Edge. It's absolutely worth it. If you're against a Pudge, yeah, sure, maybe you can reduce his magic resistance for a couple seconds while you hit him. There's a couple of heroes that Silver Edge is really good against. If you're against a PA, get a Silver Edge. But this game, not so much. It's not a good Silver Edge game. It's a waste of his money. He's absolutely lost value by doing that. Are they smoking or something? What is going on? Well, that's his Radiance. Radiance illusion here. This guy's really missing attack speed and stuff. I actually feel like I'm really onto something with this Radiance Armlet build. The Armlet build is very common right now, but the Radiance build is also very good. Radiance into Armlet SNY. You go Radiance, Armlet, SNY, Boots of Travel, and then you've got 2 extra item slots. I feel like that could work. Give you like 50 attack speed. You still have a Radiance, which is really good. You could also go Manta Armlet. Manta Armlet's probably not bad either. That sounds okay. Armlet synergizes with Manta because you're increasing your strength by a bit. The Radiance is obviously good. The Manta is not bad. I think that build sounds good. Armlet might be the key there. You're going to run out of item slots really fast, but I think that's okay because you can buy your allies things anyways. And then you could go for a Blink Dagger maybe for your 5th item. Or maybe earlier. I guess Armlet SNY gets picked up about the same time as Radiance though. It's hard to say. I guess they're slightly anti-synergistic. Finishing a Radiance and then finishing an Armlet sounds a bit weird. Or you could do Armlet into Radiance. That sounds less good though. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Armlet Radiance with a defensive support would be really solid. That way if you're in trouble you can always get graved. Play Alchemist like a Huskar. Oh, they did actually smoke finally. Whoa, CM blinked way too far up. You gotta wait for your team to initiate first. He may still live though. No, he's dead now. You really can't do that. If that CM would have waited for his team, let Slardar go in first, for example, he could have won this fight entirely. Okay, good kill by Slark, but now he's dead. Fight was completely messed up by CM. He probably got excited and said, oh, maybe they're going to be here, and then he blinked aggressively. But the problem is if he blinks aggressively, then his team has to catch up, and then CM has like 3 seconds where she has to try to stay alive. Well, it would have been amazing, actually. Let the Slardar go in first. He's going to try to kill him, I don't know. He might actually get him. This actually disables Radiance, I think. Oh, no, it doesn't. He just took a little bit too much damage there. Slark is just so good against tanky cores. Oh, and he wasted his diffusable. Alright, that was good. Dark Team's pretty much on you. Do not like this buyout. Okay, I like this buyout. They're getting reduced gold, but this is... Okay, that's not good. Some sick ass throw, man. He's gotta be so careful. I like his positioning. They can still kill this guy even through BKB. That was really big ult there. He didn't use Dark Pact forever. Oh well, I guess that actually worked out okay for the Radiant team. I'll take a look at the...
Dire's middle tower
Give me that fight
is under
recap.
attack.
Yeah, overall positive net worth for the Alchemist there. I think that was okay. It's now building probably the Manta now, but it's so late, man. So late. Oops. What was I saying? Oh yeah, initiation. Crystal Maiden needs to let Slardar go in first, and then he could stand like right here and ulti. Or maybe like right here and ulti in the trees. Or right here. If you're playing a support like CM, you can't be the one to initiate in most cases, especially when your opponents are ahead. You gotta let a stunner go in first, Not a weak disable like Frostbite and Nova. That's not the right way to do it. Let the initiation go on the hero that has the BKB and the Blade Mail, for God's sake, you know? And then you come in afterwards, after they've used Charge and Fissure and Shackle Shot, and then you cast your ultimate. Then they have less options to deal with it. Obviously, they still have like Riki, Smoke Cloud and stuff, but Riki's actually fairly strong now due to the fact that his team got big advantage. And as of yet, Morphling really hasn't done that much. He's basically just contributing to an adaptive strike in every fight. And again, he should just, every time that he's near Alchemist, he needs to use his ult on him. And he needs to go send it in the jungle and get like 2 camps of farm at least. There's no reason he shouldn't be doing that. Venge as well, Yasha. I've been watching too many carry Venge games. This is like an old school bad Venge build if you're playing Venge support. You don't go for Yasha, you go for a Force Staff or a Wand or a Glimmer Cape. Yes, it gives you mobility, but so does a Force Staff, for example. And the Force Staff can also be used on your allies if needed. It does make him hit pretty hard, that's cool, I guess. Almost makes me want to go like Treads Venge all the time. Very common build in the pro scene is Venge Carrier lately, but they always go Helm of the Dominator. It allows them to jungle. Helm of the Dominator Treads. But just thinking about that, buying the Helm of the Dominator as a support, I guess it's 1800 gold, it's not that expensive, but you could buy a Force Staff for about the same cost, and Force Staff helps your allies so much more than Helm of the Dominator does. The Helm of the Dominator is kind of nice, I guess, for the fact that you can just AFK jungle with it, but I just think it's so good. Oh my god, please get another swap. Oh god, what are you doing? You gotta increase that range, baby. The range is so big. Gotta level the skill up. It's a terrible skill build. He's probably like, oh, it's just a little bit of range. The range is huge, though. They also aren't carrying Dust. Dust and Sentries. You're against a Riki, you always have to have those. You're against a Shadowblade Slark, you always have to have those. They could actually just walk into Riki right now, and the smoke's gonna break, and they're screwed. They see Riki mid. Can they fight him? Hell no, they can't. They don't have a Dust. They don't have a Sentry. Maybe they'll find these heroes and get lucky, but the item builds out of the Dire team is just so much better. And now they ran from here into their jungle to go farm. What the hell was that? What a shitty smoke. Maybe they realized they didn't have detection. Oh, they actually do one. It's on the Morphling. They could have just killed Riki. Why didn't they do that? That was very bizarre. That is not how you get smoke value, guys, or dust value. Smoke and dust value, let's be real, it was both. That was just very weak target acquisition by the Radiant team there. They didn't really know how to look for opponents. That's what it seemed like. Also, what they could have done, maybe... obviously, Alchemist doesn't have the upgraded boots, but smoke with 4, then have him TP in later. That kind of a thing is always really good, too. So it's probably about time he starts building Ags for his team. Probably would be helpful. Finally, the Morphling is using his ultimate. He should really be doing this every time it's off cooldown. No reason not to. Rest in peace, Clawing Blade. And Riki continues to farm jungle camps for some reason. I would say he should be looking for kills, but the Radiant team is actually just 5-manning a lot, so it's maybe not the best thing to do either. AC picked up on SB. Not the best SB item actually, because your damage is all magical basically from Greater Bash and Nether Strike. So it doesn't actually increase your damage, but the attack speed increase is pretty good, and the overall bonus to your allies is very good. And there isn't really anybody else on his team that was going to build one, so it's actually okay in my opinion for him to have the AC. It's just not the most stack efficient thing. Maybe even if you're really worried about single target damage and maximizing your damage, something like a Moon Shard is actually better than an AC probably is. It's probably way better than an AC is, in fact. He does hit decently hard, 136. Increasing that damage is okay, but the real solution may be Moon Shard. Kind of fun to, would be fun to play Spirit Breaker with Moon Shards. I think that would be really cool. Alright, again, the Radiant team standing around not knowing what the hell they're doing. Apparently fearing wherever Riki is going to be. In the reality, the Dire team is just passively farming. This is a game that could simply be won by either team just doing anything with their game. Literally anything. I mean, the GPMs at this point have got to be just disgustingly bad. That's pretty awful. We've got pretty much everybody is sub 400. There should be, on a winning team, there should be like 3 heroes above 400 GPM at least. and at least like 2 heroes at 500 GPM. But the reality is everybody's just kind of standing around all game. Very frustrating to watch. And this kind of happens sometimes when teams are like, you know what? I'm fucking terrified right now. What should I do? I'm gonna stand around near my allies because I'm afraid. But that sense of fear comes from a lack of understanding about the game of Dota 2. That's pretty much what it comes down to. This is basically the point of the game where these 3K players that before were looking like 4K players become justified at being 3K players. Because it's like you're actually just standing around right now. You could have an extra item up on your opponents and you don't because you're literally standing around. Same thing goes for the Radiant team though. They could be farming much more efficiently. This guy's Manta's off cooldown. He could use this right now. Go stand the illusions down the mid lane. Push the lane out. Go kill the ancient camp in the meantime. Go walk up here, kill this camp, spawn the Mantas, send them into the enemy jungle. What happened? They got an Aegis. When's the last time something happened? It was 34 minutes ago. That's 6 minutes. Literally 0 kills in 6 minutes, despite either of these teams having amazing gank heroes. This is why you are 3K. And god damn am I frustrated watching this right now. I'm gonna even speed this up because apparently the Radiant team feels content knowing that they should stand in one place despite the fact that their opponents now got Aegis and now they're gonna go push. You know what you do when your opponents are stronger than you, you have an Aegis? You split push. You push out other lanes. And what have they done? They did nothing. They literally stood between their tier 3 and their tier 2 towers. They didn't push the top lane and farm. They didn't go to the enemy jungle without getting spotted by lane creeps and farm. They actually just stood around. You want an extra level of nether swap? Now would be a good time. Can you tell I'm frustrated? This game is frustrating. Nice little stun here, but that guy's gonna die like instantly. Is team gonna save the day? Oh, she should do it. I think she should have channeled her ulti a little bit longer there. She's dead anyways. Alright, really bad fight for the Radiant team here. It just looked like they're lost. Oh, they called a good game. Is that it? I mean, that was definitely a shit fight, but the game's not over. Definitely a really bad fight. They did get the Aegis, I guess. They had that advantage going for them. But Scotty's up now on Slark. I still would like to see a butterfly on him. I think that'd be really good.
Radiant's bottom tower are under attack. Radiant's bottom has fallen. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Alright, basically everything's just dying here. Stun him. Use your blink and stun him. What are you doing? Everybody's just walking around. Press any of your, literally any of your buttons. Press them. Alright, that's a 2 Rex. So what happens now? Now do they just stand around for another 20 minutes? Use your freaking Manta. God, it's frustrating. This build is literally about farming. If you don't understand how the farming aspect works, then you should not be playing this build. You should be learning a different aspect, whether ganking or something. But the farming has been real mediocre on this Alchemist. He's got freaking the most OP skill in the game in some ways. And he's not actually utilizing it. Spawn your Manta, run him at the creeps, and kill them. He knows the build, but he doesn't know how to do it. It's so frustrating to watch. Activate your Manta, run it at the creeps. Bam, you get gold. It's so simple. You just want to play this game and win every single game.
Radiant's top tower is under Radiant's top tower has
still hasn't used his Manta style. Man, the early game, not that frustrating. This part, I am real frustrated. Alright, so they're going to try to defend here. We'll see how they do it. Best solution would be stun on the Slark before he gets his BKB off and then kill him before he's able to pop BKB. But there's so many strong heroes. Oh, we got a Moonshard now? This SB's item build is actually so sick. I want to see how fast he attacks. Oh, that's so scary. Oh, it's a 2-second cooldown. Okay, so there is like a limit to attack speed. That'd be. Oh, they got a swap. Okay, they found one. Can they kill this guy? All right, again. Slardar's just whiffing his stuns, man.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
All right, Smoker's not gonna. I don't even know what's gonna happen.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's not looking good. Alright, they got Earthshaker. That looks like a stun. Yeah, that guy's dead now. Alright, Morphling finally doing his job and stunning heroes. He literally just has to wait for Dark Pact to end, and he has to stun. and they win the fight every single time. And BKB has to not be up, obviously. So back to passive farming, I guess, and sitting in your base. One of the downsides here to support Morphling is that you really don't farm very fast. Alchemist says, oh, he used it! Whoa! Whoa, 47 minutes! Look! It's working! It did almost nothing, but it's working! If only he did that 20 minutes ago. Basher, I don't know if I like that. I definitely don't like E-Blade. I don't think that is the build. E-Blade is not the build if you're going Strength Morph. The better build would be either Aghanims, I think, or... Aghanims would be pretty good. You could probably justify a Dagon E-Blade, actually. Going this build, Dagon E-Blade is probably not terrible, but the E-Blade itself isn't going to do that much damage. Unless he wants to transition to a Morph carry, he could do that as well. But the stun is just so good in a lot of cases, I think it's better to stick on the strength here. He doesn't really have any hero that he's going to like supercharge his team with. Other than Alchemist, I guess. Oh, okay, I like this, I like this. More slow, BKB Glimmer. Alright, you know, I like that. I thought that was good. Well played by the Morphling there. MKB on the Riki, which is interesting idea. It is going to prevent him from missing from the Radiance, but I am unsure if it's the right build. Almost an AC picked up here for the Slardar. Morphling is going Agility, and I guess he's just going to play Shotgun. It's probably not a terrible idea, honestly. His drum build kind of helps it out a little bit. It's fairly fast with Tranquil Boots. Just literally blink stun. Any of them carried detection. That Riki would be actually so dead right now if any of these people properly understood how to gank a hero. Ugh! Like, they have a Slardar and they have, like, how many Blink Daggers? 1 Blink Dagger, 2 Blink Daggers. And they have Swap, 3 Blink Daggers. One of which is a Slardar. They could actually kill Riki every single time they see him. Or force. He doesn't even have a BKB. He's such an easy kill. Just kill him. Please. Please! Please use your Manta. And this game was... It started off so good. And then it just became so bad. You spread these out. That's the important thing. They don't do damage because they right-click. They do damage because of the Radiance. You send one in the mid lane, you send one in the bot lane. I mean, you used it. That's cool and all, but... You got very little value out of it. His Manta's up again. Does he use it? Hell no, he doesn't! Why'd you buy an Octarine Core, bro? If you're not even going to use your abilities. What is happening? Think how much farm. They are actually terrified to leave their base. They are so scared that they're going to initiate them on their opponents that they just stand around all the time. This is called ultra safe and ultra bad. Because at some point, if you play too safe, you're getting nothing. You're actually getting nothing. And these idiots on the other team are also just farming. Except the Radiant team is not farming. So because the Dire team is incapable of playing aggressively, and they're just passively farming, they're literally playing the checkmate to the Radiant strategy, which is also doing nothing. Except the passive doing nothing of farming is doing more than the standing around doing nothing that the Radiant team is participating in. All because of a Shadow Blade pickup, which is now sold, by the way. I don't like that. I think I would have kept the Silver Edge. And the Riki Maru on the enemy team. Absolutely keep the Heaven's Hellward, or the Silver Edge. There's no reason to sell it, I don't think. At the very least, you do reduce the damage that they do for a couple seconds. And they should also, the Dire team should swing like this. They should go through the lane. It's much better. Does use Diffusal Blade to remove the ult, makes sense.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Okay, that looks like a dead hero. Alright, that's a good way to start the fight. Okay. Alright, got away. He's actually looking pretty good for the Radiant team. Alright, I think he kind of missed like everybody with that one. Do they have detection? Alright, Morphling is now playing carry. We have a Riki literally still standing in the area. What does he do though? Nothing. He actually didn't even use Blink Strike once. That's a little weird. That seems a little peculiar. And what do they do now? Back into the base, 3 dead heroes. What would we farm? Hell no, we're not farming. JK, they actually left that. E-Blade helping out a bit there. He should have defused himself actually there. Okay, 6 save. Oh, there's a gem now on bench. That's good. Oh, this looks like a throw from Slark here. Oh, the bash! Oh! Can they keep him alive? Okay. Me gusta. Nice swap. Okay. Radiant team's doing it, guys. They're leaving their base. Now they're attacking creeps. That was the Slark buyback, by the way. Alright, he's got AC now. That's pretty good. AC, really good slardar item. It's a really good slardar item.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Not 100% sure what Wind Ranger's going to try to do here, but that's good. That would have been a good BKB, but I don't think it really needed to. Wow, that was actually pretty good echo. Again, turns out swap, good skill. And it looks like they just kind of won here. Because the Dire team kind of just ran at them one by one. That was pretty crazy.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
We'll get the gem. Anybody? Gem?
Dire's middle
Anyone?
barracks has fallen.
Okay, dropping all of your items is one solution. Okay, that was good. I like that from Riki. Alright, literally, if you just pick up the gem. Oh, this, yeah, that doesn't look good. Alright, is this the comeback? Can they kill him? Alright, he can't really drop any items, though. That fissure was not appropriately timed. Okay. Reverse throw. They got the gem. It's got the gem. Alright, it's on Earthshaker.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. Another AC. It's gonna be for Alchemist this time. I don't really like that. I mean, it's kind of a good... It's a great Alchemist item, but they already have one. It's actually really giving him a lot of survivability. He's not gonna be able to blink or anything because they're Radiance, so... Alright, now he has to hit him. He can blink now. That was a mistake. He should have just ran and used Wind Run, and then he could have blinked. BKB. He didn't need to die there. Alright, this game is actually getting kind of intense. Oh, she luckily got the scene. Alright, Glimmer Cape is good. Can you use Glimmer Cape on yourself while... Oh god, don't press the wrong button. Let me check. I think you can use Glimmer while you're ulting. I might be wrong. He waited until he started getting hit, and then he Glimmered himself. That was good. That was good. Liked it. Wasn't sure if you could use it in the middle of casting. I thought you'd have to press it as you cast it. That was a bit better. Okay, so they got kills again. Again, Riki is going to right-click people. They saw a creep. What happened there? Damn, really not sure. Oh, Riki goes back in. Can you get it? Alright, Riki is fed. That was his buyback? Yeah, it was. Did they just finish now? Yeah, I guess that's it. My god, what a 3K game. That was the only way to describe that one. Okay, this is what they should have done. When you're ahead, Dota Cinema? Come on, man. Come on, that was not Dota Cinema. Like, look, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but you gotta understand that when you play games, they feel really intense, right? Because at your game understanding, they feel very close. They feel like your back's against the wall. They feel like you've done everything that you can. But the reality is that everybody sucks. Everybody can also always do things better and more efficiently. I'm not trying to crash on your party because I'm sure it was really fun to play the game, and I'm sure it was really awesome to play the game. But The Radiant team stood around for so long, and you guys had an advantage in the early game, which was crushed because your Alchemist had made awful item choices and farmed inefficiently, and your Venge made bad item choices, and your Morphling kind of made bad item choices, and your CM and Slardar, you were the Slardar, and you guys did okay. I thought their item builds were pretty good. Morphling's build was okay to a certain point. The Dire team, they had such a big advantage, they could have just farmed aggressively on the map, warded aggressively, and just completely starved you out without you guys playing bad. And that's what they should have done. But they didn't do that, and they still starved you out because you guys played bad, if that makes sense. So you guys reacted poorly to them playing badly. You should have realized that they were farming passively, and you should have looked around for kills more. And that's one of the things that you do when you're behind. You farm aggressively, but not where they can see you. Ideally in their jungle, for example. And you get map control in an area surrounding your towers and entrances to your farming safe places like your jungle, and then you farm passively and get ganks off until you're back in the game, and then you can take a team fight again. And you guys could have done that, and they could have won this game, and you guys could have won this game. It literally always came down to how the fights went. So it was not the best game I ever watched, but it was definitely entertaining. It was fun to remind myself what it's like being a 3K player. A lot of you guys had potential. A lot of people in this game actually did have a lot of Dota potential, but their reactions to how the game is going was not very good. I know it's hard sometimes when you're playing solo, for example, and 4 of your allies don't know what they're doing, and you think you know what you should do, but you're not 100% sure. And sometimes like you can't always micromanage your people. You can't tell Alchemist farm here, 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 here. You can't like play 3 heroes during the game instead of just yours. So that doesn't always work super straightforward, I guess. But with that said, that was a Purge cast of pub. At first, I was like really all about this game, and then a little bit of standing around happened. And either way, it finished out pretty strong with some pretty cool fights and some crazy stuff. So, anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching today, guys. I'm going to be casting Canada Cup in about an hour and a half. You can come back and tune in for that at the Moonduck TV Twitch channel. For some reason, I thought that there weren't any games. Until I went to Wisconsin, in which case I wasn't going to be able to cover, but there are some games today, so we'll be covering those in a bit. In fact, if you're watching this video, the games are probably going on right now, so if you want to tune into those and you're done with this video, twitch.tv/moonducktv, and I'll be casting those with Mott. And that's it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.